Yo boys, it's Dave. We're going to be getting into a video by Zan Carver Fit, where he describes a story about going on TRT and how it absolutely ruined his life, completely destroyed it to bits. He hopped on TRT, prescribed by his doctor at 23, and then stuff started going really downhill. I just want to show you the story because it's absolutely incredibly important that you guys understand as young guys how much harm any sort of PEDs can cause and most likely will cause. And I'm going to go over my experience as well because I'm not natty and I've been through some pretty terrible stuff as well.
We're gonna chat real quick about basically what happened to me over what I would call 1 year span up to this point. But it was truly 3 absolutely nauseating months of my life that I feel I should probably come clean about.
All of this happened in a year's time. The side effects from steroids can come on so quickly and so suddenly, you will not know what's going on, you won't know why it's happening, you won't know how to stop it, and if you do try and stop it, it can actually make it even worse.
I'm gonna tell the story through some pictures that I have on my phone. Here is the start. It's March 13th. I'm a bit chunky. I'm trying to get a little bit of weight off of me, but still put on some size. But at this point, I'm starting my first cycle of testosterone.
Now, he is already, I think, affected by social media quite a bit because he says he's a bit chunky when in reality you can see his abs, right? Most people won't be able to see their abs unless you're like a skinny teenager. He's clearly got quite a bit of size on him. I mean, you look at his legs, they look jacked. You can see the fact that he's got chest, shoulders, arms, his back, all of it is jacked. He says he's a bit chunky. Like that looks like a person, you know, mid-bulk, maybe even in good shape, right? Like not in any way, shape or form would any woman or guy in the street, or even if, you know, just have a look at the picture, would you say this guy's chunky? If your brain is completely destroyed by social media and the only things you find impressive are either people completely shredded or physiques that are just like completely unattainable by most people, this physique is a good looking physique and I wouldn't call it chunky whatsoever.
I've been on TRT for a year, or no, more like 8 months at this point, and I decided to go on my first cycle.
Keep in mind that, like you just said there, he's already been on TRT. He already has an advantage over natural people. He's already, you know, has more in his body than the average natural person would. He's already at an advantage. He's already built more muscle than most people have because he just has more optimized hormones, more stable hormones. And I know from my own experience, when I started taking PEDs, I only took a TRT amount of stuff and that was enough to completely blow my physique out of the water straight up. Like within a few months my physique looked completely different, even though I was literally just on TRT. And people will tell you that TRT is, you know, it's only TRT, it's nothing. Listen, think about the biggest guys out there, right? Like you think about like a 6'5", you know, strong man, natural. The amount of muscle you can build naturally is within the realms of having natural testosterone. It's not unnatural. He's not taking anything, right? We're talking about a natural person. Now imagine slamming that much testosterone, like that high end of testosterone, into your own body, right? If you're like a 5'10", 80 kilo guy, the amount of muscle you're gonna be able to build is gonna be out of this world. Do you know what I mean? So TRT is definitely not something that's just a little something light that won't give you many results. It will absolutely blow your physique out of the water, and it can maintain an absolute fuck ton of muscle if you have taken like further PEDs. You know what I'm saying?
I'm starting to get a little bit leaner. Abs are coming out. My body's starting to take shape. Love handle's going away slowly, but you might notice there's a bit of acne popping up. About July, I start to see acne on my face, my neck, a little bit on my back. Nothing that I hadn't experienced before. Now here's the thing. I experienced acne all through middle school and high school. I always had acne. It was a huge insecurity for me. I had it into college. I had it after college. I'll put a picture here of what my face looked like the year after I graduated. My face. Just entirely just like acne for no reason. It was entirely frustrating. So it's not something I've never experienced before. And I say that to this point that maybe this is something I should have saw coming. If you do the timeline and understanding that if I started mid-March, now it's mid-July, I've been on for 4 months. I'm looking pretty decent, right? But 16 weeks of using a compound longer than expected, I should expect to see some side effects. My blood work looked good, my body was changing, I felt really good, so I kind of ignored it, to be honest.
So if any of you are thinking about starting PEDs, whatever you are susceptible to during puberty, say you had acne on your face, you had acne on your back, you had acne on your shoulders, you had acne on your chest, anything like that can come right back when you go on PEDs, whatever it might be, right? Because you know, any sort of PED, you were talking about testosterone or any sort of derivatives or any sort of SARMs, everything is based off of basically testosterone, right? So whatever you are gonna be taking extra of, that you're gonna get like a puberty effect again, right? I personally started to experience acne after a while, which is exactly the same effect as he had. Just out of nowhere, it just starts appearing. Out of nowhere, you don't know why, you don't know what's going on, you do your blood work, everything might look fine, and it still appears. It will just happen. Do not think that you can just take something and not get any side effects. If you are really lucky, it can happen where you take something, you're fine, so you think. Outside, externally, nothing happens. You don't get balding, you don't get acne, nothing happens. You just build a bit of muscle, and you might think you're fine, but you will still be damaging your health in the long run.
400 milligrams a week. So basically I was going every other day. My blood work actually looked good, to be honest. If you look at my blood work, all my blood work looked good. There was nothing bad. But you'll see here, my skin really was starting to get bad on my back. Things are starting to kind of surface. My body, best it ever looked, be honest. Like, this is the leanest with the most muscle I've had, about 185 pounds. Best I've ever looked, and I was pretty proud of it. But it was hard to be proud of taking my shirt off when my skin looked like this. And I wasn't really understanding why. It's truly stupid to look back and realize that I wasn't understanding that my hormones were so high, and it's obviously the reason why my skin is acting up, and I basically ignored it. And, I've had acne in the past, I'm sweating a ton, there's got to be reasons why, other than the fact that I am using testosterone at a level elevated from what my doctor has prescribed, trying to get the most anabolic benefits from it.
This is what people won't understand either. You will start to justify whatever you're taking despite obvious stuff happening to you. So he says himself, he's getting a bit of acne, and he's like, I've been through this before, it was just puberty, I'm just sweating a lot more, I'm training really hard, I'm bulking, my calories are higher, and I'm getting these side effects, and it will probably go away. The thing is, this only gets worse and worse and worse. Literally, we're gonna go through this video, and you're gonna see how much worse it can be. And a lot of people will just justify it, instead of, realizing, what have I changed? I've changed my hormones completely, yeah? So now my body is completely out of its normal realms and stuff is happening to me. That is a thing you need to fix. If you're taking PEDs and you get side effects, and this guy gets side effects, what he should have done is gone, I'm taking PEDs, I've upped my dose, whatever. I need to stop right away, but people don't, and men don't. It's because I think, honestly, a part of the reason why he did this is because of social media. Like, literally, there are comments that I get on a daily basis, or I've had comments over such a long time, of me lifting. For example, like recently I deadlifted 315 kilos, and I was really excited because it means a lot to me because it's a lifetime PR. And somebody said, all of that for 315 kilos. He said 315 kilos is mid nowadays because of social media. And I was like, do you understand how insane you are? You will not see a 300 kilo deadlift in your life throughout your whole gymming career. You go to the gym every single day for fucking 10 years. I haven't seen a 300 kilo deadlift yet. Unless you go to a very specific powerlifting gym, you won't see crazy things, right? You only see these crazy things because you watch social media, and you're only seeing the people on there that are on a global scale, right? You won't see it in normal life, and you do not need to be this crazy person that's got 10 million pounds in the bank and he's got an insane physique, and you have to be world level, and you have to be a bodybuilder, and you have to have powerlifting level fucking numbers. You don't have to be any of that. Whatever you're doing is probably amazing, and you're better off than everybody else around you, even if you just train.
This is where it started to get bad. So here, I'm showing you guys this picture. It's on the screen. This, you guys can see I have terrible cystic acne starting to shoot up my neck, my back, it's even on my chest, and it's painful. It hurt to touch. I could feel it. I could feel it, like the blood pressure on it, the pressure against my skin. I could feel the tightness on my skin. When I trained, when I explained to you, it was the most painful thing I was experiencing. I'll continue to go scrolling through here, August into September. You notice my skin has just absolutely changed. The texture has changed. I have cysts all over my back, all over my chest, and now even my shoulders. Guys, it got to the point where I couldn't train. I couldn't push against a bench. I couldn't put a barbell on my back. I remember I was training my friend Nick Megan, and the bar was on my back, and I was bursting. I was bleeding, and it's disgusting. It really is, but beyond being disgusting, it was painful because I could feel everything in my back just pinching. I'll show you guys here. I went and had a back facial, and the esthetician who was working on me basically said this is the worst she's ever seen, and she can't use a tool to open them up, so she's just squeezing them, hoping that they'll find their way through a pore. But because the skin was so thick that there was no way that the pus would find its way through. So she was just squeezing my skin and squeezing the cysts, and I was crying into the bed, and it was so painful.
I think this is a really important video because a lot of people will, glorify steroid use on social media. We have people like the Trend Twins and whatever, and I know it's all fun and games, right? And there's other people on social media that literally just go about their social media life and they're like pinning like Toji, right? And it's all funny, but at the same time, it literally makes teenagers think like, oh, he's okay. that's fine, I'll do it. And then, because he's fine, but you might not be. This is the thing, you might not be. Do not take that risk. It is absolutely not worth it. It could happen that you are gonna change your life permanently. Your skin could go so bad, it will never look normal again. You might be left with scars for life. This guy is gonna be left with scars for life. And I feel really sorry for him because he just had a bad reaction. And he's not taking anything out of the ordinary. He said he's taking 400 milligrams of testosterone for years and years and years and years. The average advice was 500 milligrams of testosterone for your first cycle. Imagine you take your first dose for the first 3 weeks, and after 3 to 4 weeks, you explode in side effects and you are left with side effects for the rest of your life. How fucked up is that? Do not take that risk. Do not tread lightly, even though social media will tell you how like normalized everything is. Taking steroids isn't normal. And unless you are absolutely sure you are old enough, you've been training for long enough, 10 years, right? And you are absolutely sure that this is something you want to do, you're going to be old enough to make that decision. It's not going to be, it's not going to be influenced by what's happening on social media. But there are people in my comments on social media that I see every day. MK677, can I take MK677? Can I take Anavar? Can I take this, that, and the other? Because it's like an easy way to get into it, and they're looking for an excuse. It's never easy. You might take something and it'll be fine, but you might take something and you're gonna end up regretting your life decisions. And then you're gonna become depressed because now you've lost your confidence. Now you can't, wear a tank top. You can't do anything. You gotta wear a hat or something because your hair's gone completely.
So some of the worst things I experienced were laying in bed was probably beyond training was the most painful part of my day because laying on my bed meant I was bleeding and sticking into the sheets or my shirt. So I would be wearing, just a shirt I didn't care about and I was ready to throw away as soon as it was good to go. But I bled into shirts, I bled into sheets, I got stuck to them in the middle of the night. I woke up, I got up like I was Frankenstein because I just didn't want to touch anything and I got stuck to everything and everything just ripped when I woke up. I would wake up in the middle of the night and I'd be bleeding. Some of the shittiest stuff I've ever dealt with. So when I would go to train, I would wear 2 shirts and a sweatshirt. And sometimes I would bleed through all 3. I avoided movements where there was contact with my back. And you don't really realize how many people touch you on the shoulder or dap you up and slap your back when you don't have this, but when you do, you notice everybody. And the amount of people that I accidentally shoved because they tried to do that to me, I actually felt bad. I was very defensive. I didn't want anybody to touch me. I wore big baggy sweatshirts. I put a hood up and a hat on. I ignored people. I had my headphones in. I heard people talking to me and I ignored them because I just truly wanted nothing to do with anybody. And it's not me. That's not who I am. I'm about as social as it gets. I talk to everybody in the room. It affected my mental health a ton. It's something that's tough for me to talk about, and I've spoken to a lot of people about it, and that's helped me a lot, but it was easily one of the hardest times in my life.
I want to tell you guys about my story, right? I had acne and it got pretty bad and cystic as well. It was out of nowhere and I know it was caused by, and it's all reversed and it's completely fine now, but I experienced a slice of what this guy's experiencing, which is why I want to make this video, right? We're on the same path. It is so horrible. It starts appearing, and as it starts appearing, you think it's fine. You think it's just one spot. It's two spots. It looks fine, and then it progresses, and there's 5, and then it just like gets a little bit more angry, and then these really angry ones start to appear. And by the time that happens, you're thinking like, okay, maybe it's my hygiene. Let me fix my hygiene. Let me shower twice a day, even though you've been showering once a day your whole life, and everything's been fine, and I've never had acne in my life. And it just suddenly appears, and I'm like, hey, I'll just start showering twice a day. Maybe the steroids are causing something, whatever, and I just need to shower more often. All right, I'll do it. Up my hygiene, get a cleanser. I start doing everything. More spots appear, and now, they're very visible. And then, okay, it's not the hygiene. Let's add another thing in. Let's try and fix up my diet. Eat really clean, even though I've been eating like shit my whole life. Never had a spot. Clean up my diet. Boom, clean diet. What's happening? Spots keep appearing. Okay. And I think, I'm pretty sure he was going through the same things, right? He was just like, I'm just sweating a little bit more. I just need to eat a bit cleaner and everything's gonna be fine. It's not that. The justifying of what you're doing, I don't know if it's justifying or maybe you're just ignorant to it. You don't want to believe it. You don't want to believe it's happening to you. But when things starts happening to you, you almost don't want to believe it, right? And believe me, you don't want to be in that position because as soon as those spots started appearing, I was like, this just looks fucking awful. It looks so bad. And at a point it was painful. There was a few bleeding on my back, and then I had to start wearing long sleeve t-shirts only. I really enjoy going to the gym, getting a pump, wearing a tank, and looking at myself. It's just a normal gym experience. You want to see your pump, but I couldn't because I take off my fucking top. I have a tank top on. I look in the mirror. It looks fucking disgusting, and you're just left like, it's not like it just erodes at your confidence, because one day you're happy and everything's fine, and then the next day you're getting side effects and you're just like, oh, the fuck am I doing? Do you know what I mean? And this is honest. This is my honest experience. I've never spoken about this, but it's just the honest experience. And I just want to warn you, it could be a lot worse for you. You might not be able to reverse it. This, like I told you, this guy is stuck with those scars for life. He might never, take his tank top off and be fully happy, because he's like, oh, my skin isn't as clear as it used to be. It's not as clear as it should be. And because what? Because I made a fucking mistake. You don't want to be in that position. Trust me.
Where I'm at now is I'm still taking Accutane. I have been for just about 4 months now. It's helped a ton. You guys obviously saw my skin in the training videos earlier. To some degree, my skin is pretty bad looking. It's tough to look at for me sometimes, but it's far in comparison away from where I used to be. So it actually makes me happy. I went through the toughest time in my life, where I experienced an insurmountable amount of regret, embarrassment, frustration, pain, loss of self-worth, all of those things for months. I hid it from my work, I hid it from people I see every day, I hid it from family members, I hid it from a lot of people because I was embarrassed. Now I'm just about as happy as I've been in a very, very long time. And it's actually allowed me to have a different perspective on what I'm doing right now. Helping you guys, provide content, show you guys what I go through and how I'm coming back. This is the start of my story, truly, of where I went, relearn who I am, because who I am, if I'm not a bodybuilder, I at least love fitness. I love to train, I love to work out, I love to talk to people, I love to help people, and that's really all I really want to do. And for months I closed myself off from people because of what I suffered through, and now I can truly appreciate being in the gym, working out with people, teaching people about fitness, helping people reach their goals, and hopefully reaching my own. That's truly what I've learned from this experience, is to appreciate being in the gym, appreciate having skin that isn't covered in cysts, and appreciate having the health and the ability to do the things that I do and do the things that I love every single day.
I'm so glad that he's finally on his recovery. His skin looks a lot better. It doesn't look angry anymore, right? He lowered his dosages, he's working with the doctor to get Accutane, and his skin gets better. I will stress this until the end of my days. I do events sometimes, and teenagers ask me, David, how was your experience with PEDs? Don't take them. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The experience is individual to everybody, but you have to be aware how bad it can be, and you might be that person. It's just not worth it, okay? How much happier would this guy be if he just remained natural, or stuck to his TRT dose that was prescribed to him for whatever reason he had TRT for, and just trained and made loads of progress? If you asked him, hey, would you go back and just stay on that dose and never escalate it, and never escalate anything ever again? Would you take that, or would you go through that experience that you've been? 100% of the time, he's going back and never touching a fucking thing ever again, apart from what's prescribed to him by his doctor, that's monitored by his doctor, and what's healthy for him. 100% of the time. On that note, I hope you boys have learned something from this video, right? Some real experiences here that people don't talk about, people won't open up to you about. They won't even open up to you about taking steroids in the first place. Take it seriously. It's not an easy decision. It's not a simple decision. It's never as simple as it seems. It's never as good as social media makes it. Life's not a movie. It gets pretty rough. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.